and welcome to the Saturday Breakfast Show with me, your host, Namibian. As per usual, we're here in the lovely capital city at Street Cuisine. The Box Cafe. We have done upgraded and rebranded, y'all. Now let's get into this morning's tea. Today's inspirational story of the day. Our former gang member turned local hero is now currently feeding kids in his soup kitchen that he opened up in Ombili, and he's feeding the kids twice a week. He reportedly feeds 121 kids every Sunday and 70 to 80 kids on weekdays. So this is great. People do change. So guys, give people a chance and don't be so quick to write people off just because you have like a sordid past. I'm sure we all have skeletons in our closet. Our girl, Hilaria Johannes, has won the National Lottery Dublin Marathon. Not the National Lottery, guys. There's no coins involved. Well, I'm sure she got like a small nyana something. But yeah, congrats to her on winning this marathon. So Singaporean company International Cement is reportedly in talks to acquire 100% of the share capital of Schwenk Namibia. Now, Schwenk Namibia is the majority shareholder in Ohorongo Cement. And I'm all for like international, investments and all of that given our current economic statement. But 100%, guys, like 100% share capital, is that really necessary? Do we even have that much money? Because reportedly this deal is worth 226.9 million US dollars. Now, is this money coming into our economy or what's the deal over there? Yo, guys, this is some very hot tea. Everybody is talking about this. So 2 members of the NDF, our Namibian Defense Force, were caught on tape performing fellatio in uniform. Now, I'm not one to judge. Do whatever you gotta do, what you do is your business, but just don't do it like in the uniform, guys. Come on, this is embarrassing. Now when we send our akwaita, everybody's gonna be like, oh, akwaita to oyeri shady. And this is just, earlier this year, 2 female members of the NDF were caught shoplifting on tape. So it's a mess. It's a whole mess, honey. In international news, Rwanda is doing the things that must be done, guys. So they launched their first ever satellite to connect remote schools to the internet. And I think it's a great thing because, everybody knows now. Everybody who learns through the internet. If you ain't got YouTube and Google, you ain't doing nothing. So this is great, and I'm so happy to hear about this. So R. Kelly, the controversial, infamous, the mess that is R. Kelly, has reportedly been released from jail after he was arrested because somebody, an anonymous somebody, went and paid his back child support, 161,000 US dollars. Now in my mind, I'm like, so R. Kelly ain't got that coin? What's he doing? On his record sales, whatever, doing the most. So HBO released this documentary, Michael Jackson, called Leaving Neverland. Now, Drake has decided to drop his song with MJ from his album. He also refused to perform the song on his tour. Now, ironically, the title of the song is Don't Matter to Me. Now, clearly it matters to you, Drake. Why are you... the man is not even alive to defend himself, and you just go up and drop him, Drake. I can't. Let me drink some tea, because I can't with you, Drake. I really did love you. If he was alive to defend himself, that would be like a whole different scenario. This is not like an R. Kelly situation. We all saw the interview with Gayle King, honey. And I can't. I just can't. So I'm sure everybody has heard about this Ethiopian Airlines plane crash that happened, killed everybody on board. It was such a disaster, such a catastrophe, it's just horrible what happened. And the thing is, when the investigations have now started, the pilot actually did report something wrong with the aircraft, not even 10 minutes after they took off, because the plane actually crashed not even 10 minutes after they took off. So now, in lieu of these circumstances or allegations, what most countries have done is they've actually grounded that specific Boeing 737 MAX, just because it's a safety hazard at this point, except the damn United States. These people refuse to ground the aircraft because akere, the coins. So now what must happen? Must more people die before Donald Trump gets it into his head that there is just I can't. I just can't. And that's a wrap, guys. That's all the tea I have for you guys today, but please stay tuned to see what's on the menu and who will be joining us today for breakfast.
Hi, I'm Chef John at Box Cafe. What we have on the menu, so we have wraps here, beef sausage, lettuce, cucumber, bacon, chicken bacon perhaps, mushrooms, eggs, cherry tomatoes, red onions. Whoa. Slice this slowly down. Grab our red onion. So these are the fillings for the wrap. Slowly slice that. So add cherry tomatoes as well. So all this is going to be stir fried in one pan. The mushroom, cherry tomatoes, bacon, the sausage. So we'll fill it with the wrap. Just put this down. Drizzle a bit of oil into the pan. Grabs our fillings. So let's put all the fillings into this pan. Just to stir fry all the veggies. Toss that. Right. Next step, take cooking oil. Okay, so that's where the frying of the eggs is going to take place. Beautiful. Get back to this pan. Couple of slices. Beautiful. This cut through. Add a bit of seasoning. You can always use black pepper salt. I prefer more spice. And just slide the eggs over one side. There we go. So we take cooking oil again, back into the same pan. Drizzle. Grab our bacon. The cherry tomatoes as well. What we'll do, just put this on a plate. Usually use the same plate as well, doesn't really matter. That's out of the way. There we go. The reason why they call it the breakfast wrap is because of the bacon, the egg goes into the wrap. Add the egg into that. Bit of that. Sweet and mayo sauce. Just lay that. Bit of lettuce. Our fillings. Just the bacon, veggies, egg, the main guy. We'll grab the sausage as well. It's very simple. Even a housewife can do that. All the way through. Beautiful. That's your breakfast wrap. Hope you enjoy.
Welcome back to the Saturday Breakfast Show, and today we have Chops, local businessman, radio presenter, actor extraordinaire, joining us today. Hi Chops, how are you?
Thank you. Well, thank you, and thanks for having me on your show.
My pleasure. I'm very excited to have you here. Do you know that you're actually my favorite actor? In the
No,
whole of Namibia. Why?
but I'm honored. I'm honored. I don't know what's. It's probably got to do with the Katsutura film.
Yes,
And,
I was living for you in that film.
really?
You did the things. Why?
I think so many people have been asking for a second version of Katsutura, and I keep mentioning the same thing, that it's about money because it's a business.
Yeah.
But I really hope they find some money
Yeah.
and make another film out. There's some internationals that are very interested in translating the film these days
Ooh.
into their native language, and also making a second part of Katsutura funded by them.
Wow.
So I haven't really discussed it in length with the producers and the directors.
Maybe you should.
I've mentioned it on the fly, and hopefully they can get talking soon. I'm not sure where it ended up, but there are talks of a second
really
version.
excited because I loved you in that movie.
Yeah.
And what got you into acting?
I think I've always been an outspoken,
Type of guy.
extroverted person. Growing up, I was, let's say that I wouldn't say the class clown, but I wasn't much of the shy person. So as I got into high school, I tried and get involved in as many things as possible,
Okay.
which got me into boarding school theatre, got me into school productions.
Oh, cool.
So just always being involved in competitions and
Yeah.
aesthetics, and just trying to getting into institutions.
Oh, thank you. This looks
Wow.
lovely. Wow.
Thank you.
Fancy Nancy. Okay.
Getting into institutions where I can be professionally trained.
Okay.
There's no rush to be professionally trained at the moment for me. I think it's a lifelong learning journey.
Yeah.
So one day when the time is right and I have the time, the resources to be trained, then I'll do that. Otherwise, the stage is my learning ground,
Right.
theatre.
It's actually interesting that you say that because I thought you were trained.
Oh no,
Yeah.
no. I
Because
mean,
you're
there's-
very well spoken and articulate and all of that.
I think I was just lucky with our upbringing.
Yeah.
Being raised in Oranje, having people of all sorts of cultures. I think at that stage, Oranje had really good teachers.
Okay.
So we all sound the same from Oranje.
Oh.
And I think what's
Oh, that
added
Oranje accent.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
okay. So that's
and,
what it
and
is.
also on top of that, it's Oranje kids were sent to South Africa.
Really?
Yeah.
So were you sent to South Africa as well?
Yeah, so we were all sent to Cape Town, to boarding school.
In Cape Town.
So
how old were you when you went to South Africa?
we were 13.
Mm.
So all the kids from Oranje would go to high school outside of the town. So Cape Town was a new place to go. So that's what we chose.
Okay, so we spoke a little bit about your upbringing and your parents and that type of thing. So the R. Kelly scandal, you're a family man yourself. What do you have to say about that? As him as whatever you feel, just let us know, because I really want to know what the men think about it.
So at the moment, what I see is there's victims that are coming forward and stating their case.
Right, underage.
And,
Like
they
that.
are underage victims, but there's also ex-wives and ex-girlfriends. So I believe that where there's a situation like this, there must be an investigation.
Right.
And these guys are very skilled investigators, and I think it's being investigated by the FBI. In fact. So let the police work be done. I'm not really concerned that he's panicking right now at this stage over they're trying to ruin his life.
But what do you think that says about you, like in terms of character and things like that? What do you think his reaction was? Quite fortunate, in my opinion. It's just too much. It's doing too much.
It's too little, too late.
Yeah,
If you've committed a crime, you must do the time.
exactly.
So I'm not saying he's guilty yet. I say let the police do the investigations.
Yeah.
But if I had to boil it down at what my opinion is right now, I think those things did happen.
Yeah.
There's way too many women to come
Yeah.
forward to make those accusations.
Right.
They can't all have something against them.
Yeah.
if those things did happen, police must investigate. If he's found guilty, he
And
must do the time.
the story is consistent, is it not?
It's consistent. I think he's accused mostly of having these crazy sexual fantasies
And locking them up and starving
underage
them, yeah.
and underage having sex inappropriate with underage people, which is wrong, and for that he must do the time. But they need to investigate. They need to investigate with concrete evidence.
Okay.
And
Speaking
find
of
guilty.
evidence, have you heard about or seen this video that's going around the NDF guys? I mean, that is evidence. It's right there. I mean, they're doing it, and they're doing it in uniform.
Yeah.
So
I think that's a disgrace.
yeah.
I mean, I don't mind.
Why is it a disgrace?
It's a disgrace because it's in a uniform.
Yeah.
It's in a uniform. It's our
So
uniform.
the uniform is the factor, not the fact that they're actually.
No, I
Yeah.
don't care about the act. I mean, that's
Yeah.
in their own private capacity. I mean, they recorded it, so it's not very smart of them. But it's our uniform. It's
Yeah.
our
It
pride.
makes us look bad.
It's our pride.
Yeah.
So any occasion now where we say NDF is going to fight a war,
That's the
whatever,
thing.
we're all going to be doing this.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's not only their uniform; it's our pride.
Yeah.
And for that, I don't like what they've done.
What they've done.
I don't mind their sexual acts between themselves.
Yeah.
You know,
So, I mean, it's
don't
none of our
mind it.
business.
Yeah, it's
Just
none of
don't
our
do it.
business.
Don't do it in uniform.
Don't do it in uniform.
And don't embarrass us.
It's the most shameful thing that I've seen in this country, I think,
Thus far.
because it's
that's a
in
very big statement.
No, it is a big thing because it's in a uniform.
So what do you think should be what do you think should be done?
I don't know what military procedures are, but I mean whatever procedures there are, then they should follow those procedures.
Right.
I don't think anything extra should be done to the two individuals, but procedure must just be followed and they must just face the consequences of their actions.
Okay. So having spoken with you a little bit now, I'm starting to get the idea that you people who do the crime must do the time. So what about this former gang member that's now reformed and he's doing charitable works? What do you think about that?
I mean, mixed feelings about this because I work in an industry where we are trying to battle guys like this former gang member who might be into taking phones, who might be into robbing people. So for me, it's been a real pain in my business for the last 4 years.
Yeah.
It's great that he's reformed himself and he wants to do better, but he's going to have to really show.
Right, but he has. I mean, the numbers speak for themselves. I mean, he's feeding quite a large number of children. And I mean, I think any sort of charitable act, doesn't really matter who it is, should be commended, don't you think? I mean, people do change. Do you not believe in that?
People do change, but I just hope he's consistent.
Yeah.
And I hope he brings in others and makes a difference further than just himself. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm just happy for him that it is just himself. But if he wants to impress me, I would say try roping one or two more people to transform them. Yeah. Look, when you look at crime, I understand. I understand that people are desperate. People are poor.
Especially in this economy.
Yeah,
and it's
in
getting
this
worse.
economy, and it's getting worse. And people need to feed babies, they need to feed families.
Yeah.
So taking a phone here, I don't think it's anything personal between the culprit and the victim. It's a matter of transaction.
Yeah.
I need this to do this.
Yeah.
And I noticed this when I was in Paris. I was in a very crowded area, and I think I was the only one who was constantly touching my phone.
Aware, yeah.
To be aware that hopefully somebody doesn't take it, but nobody's interested in the
because
phone.
that's the environment that you come from.
Yeah.
Right.
So I understand that people are struggling and people need to find the means and some people maybe don't have the capacities to find the gap where they can make some legal money.
Yeah. And why do you think that is? Why do you think there is such a large gap? I mean, how many graduates do we have sitting at home with degrees and don't have jobs? What do you think that is?
Well, basic economics, you can only take in so many people to fill in so many jobs. But I know if you are willing, to do a certain job, then you'll do it. Like, for example, I wanted to start a shoe cleaning business with one lady who was, she lives in the informal settlements. But there's something about the culture saying that it's almost bad luck to clean other people's shoes.
Is it?
Yeah, so she stayed away from that. So I understood that. Then I was in another neighborhood and I was looking at this one gentleman outside his house and there was a row of cars. Now, if it was me, I would go to each one of those houses and say, "Don't wash your car anywhere else.
Yeah.
Every Wednesday, I'll be here to wash your car."
Okay.
So those are just basics. So if somebody did have to come and just spend some time and think and said, "Okay, how am I going to get an income legally?" Then hopefully, out of the 100 ideas that they come up with, one of
There's
them is
that
going to
one
be
is gonna be-
good. But you just have to be willing to take the leap and take that chance and take that risk. The other thing is when you do take that risk, it costs money.
Yeah.
Everything costs money.
Okay, so Chopsi, we spoke a little bit about the future of this country, but what's in store for your future personally? What can we look forward to?
I think, let's say between 3 and 5 years short term. I think my main concern right now is growth of my business, growth personally, and growth of the people around me. So my employees are most important to me. I can tell you right now that for my business, the economy is not very good. So you can identify those that want to grow with me.
Yeah.
And I feel a responsibility to reward them and grow with them.
And empower them.
And empower them. And that's day in, day out thinking. I wake up and I think about this, go to sleep, I'm thinking about these three things. So in 3 to 5 years, growth of business and still being above water in terms of who I want to become as a young, dynamic business person.
So it's basically about ticking the boxes off and,
Yeah.
and saying that I accomplished what I wanted to
Yeah.
in 3 to 5 years.
I think so, and
Yeah.
I always like to have goals. Like every year, I must do something that is
Yeah.
a little bit wow to me.
Yeah.
So if all those things add up, I'll feel fulfilled in what I'll be doing. And of course, there's the family aspect as well.
Yeah.
But if I get the basics right in terms of am I secured in the next year or two,
Yeah.
then I feel more comfortable to try and risk and do courses in theatre and
Yeah.
So I have to get the basics right first,
Okay.
and hopefully we'll survive the year, and in 3-5 years I'll achieve that dream.
All
Yeah.
right. Well, thank you so much, Chops. It was very nice chatting to you. I mean, I definitely learned a lot. I feel like all of us can learn something from this great businessman. It's all about, what did you say? Improving and
Improving. What did I say?
making sure that you check off the basics and
Yes.
and
Yes.
just
Focus on the basics. Get the basics right before you start. Learn to walk before you want to run.
want to run. All right. So there you have it. You heard it straight from the man himself, and we'll catch up with the money matters. Banks generally evaluate credit applications on 3 basic principles, namely integrity, repayment ability, and security. This week we will focus on one of these basic principles. So, Eddie, tell us, what do you mean by the value of a good credit history?
Well, when you buy a home, a car, leasing an apartment, or getting a job, all of these may require a credit check. Credit grantors, such as banks, make use of a credit report as issued by a credit bureau to determine your credit worthiness. And they look both at past and current credit behavior. That is why having a good credit history is so valuable.
And how do I go about establishing a good credit history?
Well, begin by opening a credit or savings account in your name. Over time, your deposits, withdrawals, and transfers will demonstrate that you can handle money responsibly. You can also apply for a loan or finance an asset, but be aware of the costs since the payment of interest is applicable. Another option is to open a clothing account, but start with a low balance and pay your account regularly. You can also apply for open 30-day credit account at shops where you frequently buy goods. For responsible users, these credit accounts are useful too. All charges are due in full every month and no interest is being charged.
Is there anything that I could do to jeopardize a good credit history?
Loan payments are noted on your credit report, even if you pay it later. You must pay your installments as per initial arrangement. Using more credit than your arranged facility will have a negative impact, and it might incur necessary costs like penalty fees. Not paying your loan or asset finance is yet another example. An unpaid installment reflects negatively on your credit report and places cash flow pressure on yourself when you need to make more than one installment payment next month. Banks and other lenders also take into account your total debt when considering whether you qualify for additional commitments.
Tell us, what are the advantages of having a good credit history?
A good credit history will make it easier to obtain credit. and favorable terms and rates can be negotiated. Good credit is always an asset and a valuable tool to build wealth for you and your family in the long term.
And say for instance, I have a poor credit history. How do I go about to improve it?
Well, Nkula, there's a couple of steps you can take. Firstly, recognize your problem, stay in contact with the credit provider, and try to negotiate new arrangements, like payment extensions or a new payment schedule. You must immediately stop taking up new credit and ensure that you can afford your monthly repayments. Try to catch up on your arrear installments and keep to your arrangements you made with the credit provider.
Well, thank you so much, Eddie, for being here. I definitely learned so many different things. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Nkula, for having me.
All right. And my viewers at home, I hope you all learned some very valuable tips. I know I definitely did, and I hope that you will apply it. Until next time. And that's all the tea we have for you guys today. Thanks for tuning in to the Saturday Breakfast Show. Wow, time really does fly when you're having fun. Until next time, same place. Bye.